Hello everyone and welcome to Stamina Radio. This is the interview part of the episode, and this week I'm going to interview a few people from Canada, localized in Mancouver, as said in the StaminaCon visual novel. So please introduce yourself.
I'm Arvin, my tag is You're Finished.
It's your boy Aoreo, or Jim, or Hey Oreo, or Yowie Boy, or
Neomax69,
but yeah, that's me.
My name is Kieran, and I go by Levitas.
So first of all, I got a question on your starting date, because to a lot of people you're pretty old school players. So can you give us some background on when and where you started?
So I started playing when I was like 7 years old. My cousin brought over a soft mat and DDR economics for the PSX. And I stomped through some ones and probably pissed off my neighbors really badly. And then I took a 3-year break, and then my brother bought DDR Max, and we stapled a pad to like a piece of plywood, which I'm sure most people did back in the day. And I've pretty much been playing since then. So it's been like 16 years.
That's a long time. I mean, same though. I started in like 2002. Kind of a similar story. My sister had a birthday party, and her friend brought over his dance mat, and we played DDR Max. And the first song they made me play was Max 300 Heavy.
Ooh.
You know, they got a meme on your boy.
Max 300.
But then, then I played like twos and stuff, and I was not good at all, and it took me a very long time to pick it up.
So I had a copy of whatever the European version of DDR is called, Dancing Stage Unleashed, I think.
Something like that, yeah.
For the original Xbox, and my sister and I played that with controllers originally, and eventually we decided to buy a soft mat, so that's when we started playing real dance games, if you will. I was probably 13 years old.
God, we're old.
No big deal, I started FFR back in 2006, so I can definitely understand where you're coming from. So what does the scene look like in Vancouver right now?
I can't answer this question because I did not even live here until like a year ago. So
We got a decent scene at the arcade now, because me and Rob, one of our roommates that's been playing for a long time too, fixed up the public arcade machine, and we recently had Graham. Am I allowed to say his name?
Yeah. He goes by 4199.
4199. He started getting pretty good recently too. I think he passed like Trails of Coldstream FC and SRPX, whereas he was doing like 18s like 2 or 3 months ago. And then there's a bunch of dudes who went up from like 12s to 16s in a month once RPG started. And we've got a pretty decent pump scene as well. I think we just recently got the newest cab, so.
Pump is definitely the biggest public dance game here.
Yeah.
There's no DDR machines anymore.
Good.
Supposedly there's an Ace machine coming at some point.
They've been saying that for like 3 months though, and it's nowhere to be found. We used to have like X3.
yeah, it's X3.
Yeah, and then they got rid of it because no one was playing it, and then all the X3 players complained that it was gone, even though they weren't giving it money, otherwise it wouldn't be gone in the
All
first place.
3 X3 players.
Yeah.
Yeah. But the private dance game scene is the 3 of us in box, and obviously that's great, so.
Oh yeah, I can see that's not a lot of people for a city as big as Vancouver is, but I mean, so far they have almost all the best players in the world right now. How did you get there? What was your progression like?
Alright, my progression was I got to like 10s on a soft mat, and then I got a Cobalt Flux, and I got to 13s, and I quit for like a year and a half. And then when I was 15, so in 2008, I started playing at the arcade, and I did a bunch of 13s, no bar. And then I met someone named Zayton. He used to be an old school player who was like ridiculously good for the time. And that made me hold on to the bar because I wanted to be as good as him. So then I got to 15s in like a month. And I just skipped over 14s completely because 14s at the time were garbage. You had like Doku Denpa and like Go Beyond. And like that's it. So yeah, I went straight to Dragon Force, and then from there I got to like 17s in another year and a half. Like all the foot speed shit, and then I got really bad and I got stuck on 18s for about 5 years. And from there, I went from like 20s to 26s in the span of a year, so that's my progression.
Yeah.
So for me, my progression was kind of dumb. So I was stuck on like DDR light mode and like I dabbled in standard a little bit for a good like 3 years, I want to say, maybe even longer than that. And then around the time when like Extreme was new, like the home version Extreme, not arcade, I was finally getting into 10s, but still, like, if I played at the arcade, I could only do like 7s, because home pad versus arcade is very different. It wasn't until around 2005 that I started actually getting good, because I had In the Groove 1 PS2.
Ooh, the hacks.
Yeah, well, this is before the hacks, so like, I think the first song I played on ITG was like literally disconnected and I failed because 216 drills were way too fast. And then probably around 2008 I actually started getting like good, where I was passing stuff like One More Lovely, Vertex Beta, all that stuff, catching up with the other boys, you know, being a name and stamina, whatever that is at the time. And then I got walled off at 18s pretty hard. I think a lot of people did at that time because there just wasn't a lot of content.
I sure love Rocket Rider.
In like 2012.
Extra Tone Pirates.
And then, yeah, so around 2014 or 2015, I finally got to like 19s and 20s, but they were like the fake Epsilon 19s and 20s. And it really wasn't until like early 2017 when I actually started getting really good, and I jumped up to like 24s and 5s pretty quickly.
Dude, once you get to 20s, the game just gets so easy. I don't know how people take forever.
Well, nowadays it's even easier because there's just so much more content.
Just hit the arrows and congrats, you're better.
So I started ITGs at about 10s, having played DDR before that. It took me about 2 months to get to 13s, and another 4 or 5 months to get to 16s. I took a summer off, and it took me about 4 months after coming back to start passing 17s. About 3 months into 19s, maybe 20s, and that takes us to the start of RPG 2. Over the course of RPG 2, I went from 20s to 23s. October, November, 2 months to 25s.
And then another 2 months to 24s.
And then it took me, I was stuck on 25s for maybe 5 months or so. And then I started getting some 26s and 7s done.
Alright, so now that you reached that point, that is very far above most of the players that are playing the game right now, what do you consider your greatest achievement to date?
Fixing the music selection in Stamina, because I was tired of getting brain damage from cranked pastry and sharp null. This is why everyone makes fun of Stamina, because they just listen to fucking noise for 8 minutes. Wow, congrats, you can vibrate to 190 for 8 minutes. You have so much stamina.
So I've done like too much stuff in like every subset of the game, so like it's kind of hard to pick just one thing. But I guess I can say passing Scarlet Tempest from Tachyon Zeta. It's considered really hard, but I don't know, it's more like a 25.
I thought the achievement part of it was getting muted.
Oh yeah. The best part about that was posting my score as a meme and getting muted from DDR ITG players for 2 months.
Calling you out, DDR ITG players.
Dude, they denied it. But I swear to God it was a glitch, because like Evil Dave started getting really mad that we kept saying that, and then like he posted pictures of the log and like he never got muted. So I think like Facebook literally just like fucked up and muted him for no reason.
Funny.
It's pretty funny. Although, to be fair, Pure Madness was harder.
Pure Madness better.
They're different.
Well, okay, I guess passing Pure Madness on my home pad is pretty...
Yeah.
So,
that's true.
I guess that one.
No pit crew,
No
home
pit.
pad, way higher score.
Yeah.
Like, that was dumb.
Was it like 86 or something?
Like 87.
What is wrong with you?
Everything. A lot. Anyway.
So you guys began playing a long time ago, so you were around when the Apocalypse was around. Apocalypse was the tournament series organized by Matt Gardner, aka Mad Matt, at his house, and hosted the hardest foot speed tournament that was. So what was everything like at the time when BP was still around?
It was more like family. Like, it felt more like a family.
Yeah, dude, like, it's all about optics now, just being nice to each other even if you don't mean it. Like, it doesn't matter if you're a bad person as long as you're outwardly nice and don't make someone else sad. Like, it's whatever. But, like, back in the BP days, it's like it actually felt like genuine. Like, if you got mad at each other, you'd get mad at each other, but because you're actual adults, like, you know, you can get over it and continue being friends and, like, you know, try to ruin each other's lives over it. And also, there was less people in the community.
Yeah.
I think the community's grown a lot lately.
Fewer people.
Shut the fuck up.
English third language.
English third language. Thank you very much. I think you're being very offensive right now. Just
sorry.
because I'm not native English speaker. Anyway, the point is, like, you can just like be yourself more, and there's less people, so you're more likely to know each other. And also, I find like forums in general, I felt like worked better than Facebook.
Oh yeah.
Because Facebook bad, first of all.
Facebook banned me.
Yeah, exactly. That's why it's bad.
It's true.
It was much more like fun and interesting to like interact with people on forums.
Yeah.
I thought, because like on Facebook it's just kind of whatever. On forums it's just more words.
It's like the fast food of interaction. Like you just give a quick interaction. Facebook.
There's like more mystery to it.
Yeah.
It's like who's this Zeterex guy? He's so weird with his posts. And then you meet him at a tournament and it's just like, oh, he's exactly the same. But
yeah, I don't know, most of the people from the BP era still play in one way or another.
Yeah.
They just happen to play different games. Like Mad Matt is obviously doing Rhythm Horizon. And then people like Paul are playing DDR. And I think everyone else still plays ITG other than Dirk, who like only went to one. Like he plays Counter-Strike. That's what he plays. So yeah, that's how BP was. It was great. It was like 20 people in a house, and it was just pure madness. And I meant that pun.
So, what was it like to witness the rise and fall of Bear Apocalypse?
Pretty cool. I remember I was at 4 Rapids 5, and I had just turned 18, and Mad Matt was like, hey, now that you're 18, I can ask you this question. You want to come to like this invitational tournament at my house where it's all just going to be a bunch of hard stuff? And I was like, hell yeah, I do. Also, it was the first time I met him, and I was a massive fanboy at the time, so it was like a literal wet dream, and I almost sent him to jail because I wasn't 18. But anyway, yeah, so that was pretty cool. And the cool thing I think about Bear Apocalypse was the experimental nature. It was like, you know how the format always changed?
Yeah.
Like some things clearly worked and some things clearly didn't work. So, you know, I kind of appreciated that Matt, like, you know, always tried new things and he wasn't afraid to just like scrap everything he had done to do something completely different, even if it was really frustrating.
My favorite thing from BP1 was that me and Mike were extras, and I still got like 5th.
Yeah, you went from like being not that great to just being really good in the span of 3 days.
Yeah.
It was really fun. I don't know, you just got in the...
Because I tried.
Yeah, you got in the competitive mindset and you just dumpstered everyone. Did you do like Superluminal CV or something? Yeah, that was like when I think maybe 3 people on most had done it too, so that was really good. And then I'm sad it's gone. I wish it was here. Psych, it's coming back, BB7.
So what's like your top Bear Apocalypse moments? Because there was a lot of stuff happening and I'm not sure everybody got the memes that originated from Bear Apocalypse.
So, I'm gonna go out on a limb and say Phil kicking the door in at
Yeah,
BP2
that is absolutely number one.
was quite up there.
Yeah, so for those who don't know the story, Phil was like he's a very like adrenaline heavy person.
Yeah.
Like when he's playing ITG, he's full of emotion. So you were not supposed to use the bathroom
Downstairs.
Downstairs, and Windu used the bathroom downstairs, and he was like pooping, and the door was locked, and like Phil tried to open it, and he was completely calm. 2 seconds later, you just hear this really loud banging sound, and he looked down, his foot is right through the door. And he got really scared. He's like, I'll pay for it.
That was literally the first thing he said.
Yeah.
I have money.
Yeah, he didn't even apologize. He said, I have money. And the best part was Matt was moving out of the house in like less than a month, and here we have Phil just breaking his fucking door. So
yeah, that was really good.
Yeah, and then as a kind of a tangent, BP2 in general, I find falls into the number one BP moment because it was just.
BP2 is really, really, really good.
I think number 2 for me personally was BP5 with the whole crush thing.
Oh my god. No one knows about that.
Dude, it was low-key the best moment ever. So I was
rare insider story.
Yeah, were you there for that?
Yes.
Yeah, so it was like me, Jim, Ian, Phil, I want to say. We were just...
Mike?
Mike, Frank. So we were going through Phil's phone, and he was just showing us pictures and the entire time. So we were being a little too loud, and we woke Mike up because it was 4 a.m, and he was still really groggy. He wasn't mad or anything, but I was like, "Hey Mike, can you sing Crush for us?" So while he's still asleep, you just faintly hear and then we started crying from laughter, and then I woke Ian up and he got really until he heard Mike singing and he also started crying. I don't think I've
laughed that hard.
I don't think I've ever laughed that hard in my life. It was just everything about the situation was unreal. Between Frank just finding out Phil was gay, I don't know how obvious it was at the time.
It's pretty obvious.
Literally every 3 seconds he said, "I'm gay," so I don't know how you'd think he was joking at that point, but
Speaking of gay, I got a pretty good moment. So BP, was this BP6, I believe?
Wasn't it BB5?
I think it was 6. Yeah, it had to have been 6. So me and Anthony were sleeping in a tent out in the front yard because, there's just not a lot of room. And we wanted our privacy. So because we wanted our privacy, we were doing the thing that people do,
They were fucking.
Yeah, so we were doing the thing. And Paul and Brandon were very drunk, having a lightsaber duel in the front yard. And I just thought it was really funny. So I started laughing, loud, and they heard us, so then they're like, "Oh shit, be quiet." And then they snuck up to our tent and came in and started hitting us with lightsabers, and we were totally naked, and it was just the most surreal thing ever. It was just is this really happening right now? And we were just dying laughing the whole time. I have not laughed that hard in my entire life. It was just really funny. I like how all these moments are not even about the tournament, just the stuff.
Well, that goes back to the whole family thing. Who cares about the tournament? It's the interactions that make the event.
It's true.
And when you have 200 people at a tournament, you don't really get that.
Mm-hmm.
And then
we're jumping out of ourselves here.
So not really. I'm talking about stuff like Storm or Fort Rapids. So I think the third overall general favorite moment for me that most people were there for would probably be Bug Jug. I think you know the story better than me, so I'm gonna let you tell.
Are you sure? I wasn't. I walked in as it happened, so I
Alright, so I think JD and Crystal were talking, and Mike was kind of staring off into the distance for the entire time. And they just kept talking out of nowhere. Mike just breaks into a fit of laughter to the point that he's just crying. The story is wrong, I just remembered it. It was Crystal trying to do something with the bug while JD was telling a story. And I think Crystal was trying to put it into a jug, and Mike just saw this whole thing in the background. And he just started crying over it, and then he started going "Bug Jug, Bug Jug, Bug Jug," and then everyone started fucking freaking out over this bug in a giant gallon tank of water.
A 5-gallon jug.
It made no sense. Mike was just crying over this dumb bug. Yeah. That's the story. Yeah. It's stupid now, but I don't care. It was funny at the time.
It was pretty funny. It's one of those you had to have been there.
Yeah. Okay, and then I guess alternative number 3 moment that's actually tournament related is probably Matt doing Scarlet Tempest 1.1.
That was pretty epic.
That was very epic. Because Scarlet Tempest was already hard. I don't think anyone other than him had been the expert at the time. I know me and Anthony had done the hard. And then Matt's like, I'm just gonna do a victory lap. And he did 340 streams on Stompers, which was like really unheard of at the time.
Yeah, that was pretty crazy. I was watching it on VOD because I couldn't be there, and it was like really, really impressive. So, do you feel like the family feeling you were talking about before is getting lost these days?
Yes.
You pretty much nailed it. Like,
Yeah, so like again, the tournaments are expanding, so there's like less opportunity to like hang out with each other, and like anyone can find anything offensive. So it's like everyone's restraining themselves now. It's like whether you like it or not, it's true. People restrain themselves, so like
no one's being their true selves.
yeah, and yeah, like the other thing about BP was because we were all in the same house and very easy to see each other. Whereas like something like ECS. Yeah, we're still kind of in the same house, but it's still split across multiple houses. And like, you gotta go to a mall, so like in your public area, you have to conduct yourselves a bit better. You can still get good moments, but it's not as wild as what you would have in something like BP or I guess ECFA. I think ECFA probably has that family feeling because it's at Kyle's house, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, I guess FA does it better than Stamina.
Yeah, it's alright. Talking about FA and Stamina, there was a meme around that said, fuck the score. So what's your stance on that today? What is your stance on score versus pass? I know the two of you have got ridiculous score back 5 or more years. Did your stance towards score versus pass change at all?
Alright, so I don't particularly care about scoring versus passing. I don't know about you. Like,
I mean, I like doing both when possible, but at higher difficulties it's a lot harder. I still try to score as best as I can.
Yeah.
But like sometimes you gotta make sacrifices.
Yeah, like if I'm trying to break it to a new difficulty, I don't give a fuck about getting a 90. I'd rather get the pass. Like I know people get annoyed when you get a low score, but like, shut the fuck up. Let's see you do that.
I don't think getting 60 on anything diminishes a pass, except if you're Garner and you get 37% on an 18.
When you can do 26, that's just a different kind of stupid. Like, I'm pretty sure it takes more effort to get 30% on an 18 than it does to just turn off your brain and get an 80. Like, Garner, stop.
It's time to stop.
We're calling you out, Garner.
So the fuck the score thing started in BP2, and Matt. He used to be big on, scoring on when he would pass stuff, and then one day he decided, you know what, fuck trying to score, I'm just gonna pass as many 18s today as I can. And he passed like 12, I thought.
Oh yeah, dude, it totally was 12.
It was like 12 18s in one day, which was like unheard of at the time.
Yeah.
And so he decided to make a whole like segment of BP2 based off of that. And
yeah, so
want to elaborate on that?
Wasn't fuck the score BP3 actually?
It was 2.
Was it? Yeah. Because I thought BP2 was like the max 300 versus the 3 different sets where you could do like speed, stamina, or hybrid.
Max 300 was for lower.
Yeah, but then like what the hell is fuck the score then? I literally don't even remember it.
It was the other set. There was the fuck the score set, and then there was like the... Was it BP3?
I'm pretty sure it was BP3 because there was a set where it was score, and then there was a score set that wasn't score.
Yeah.
So they had the bear points or whatever.
Yeah. BP3 was like that.
Yeah, because the thing.
You're not in this interview.
Hi, Anthony.
Get out.
Hi, Anthony. Yeah, he was there for that, so he knows what he's talking about just as much as we do, or probably more than we do, because we have goldfish memory. All that talk
Small
about.
brain.
But yeah, so like fuck the score is just like the origins of not scoring instead of passing.
Yeah, just valuing passes over score and conserving as much as possible.
And like it did a lot for the game because we'd still be stuck at like 21s.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Yeah. And like the thing is, the two things aren't even conducive with each other because it's like, I just passed C Shanti with a 68, but I've also gotten above 90 on a 23, so like it was hard.
Yeah.
So pro strat is to not score on your hardest difficulty and then score on anything below.
Yeah.
Like that's all you have to do, and you can be good at everything.
It's true.
So any of you have regrets on the Arvin in Japan days being gone? Like basically Arvin in Japan with a forum where most SG people started to hang out and post scores.
I mean, if anything, I miss rhythmatic way more than there.
Dude, I wasn't there for that.
Dude, that was the shit. Back in the day, everyone was on rhythmatic, also known as ITG-free.net. And yeah, it was like a really hype time for dance games. This was like 2007, 2008.
Dude, wasn't like the renaissance of stamina or whatever?
Yeah, and then there was that thread, the official I passed a retardedly hard sim file.
Don't you mean regardedly?
Yes, in high regard. You were held in high regard if you were on the list. Anyway, so yeah, that made things more interesting and fun, and like people would always post silly things on there, and it was always fun to read them. Like there was like different threads for like what's the word? Different like areas. There was regional
boards.
And yeah, there was the regional boards, and the Midwest board was always popping because the Midwest scene used to be enormous.
Yeah.
And like it was so big that like people that weren't from the Midwest would also post in there, and it was always like really funny just to like see the dumb things people would talk about in there. And it's just again going back to like the family thing where like it was more tight knit.
It's true. Now we have a Facebook group with 5,500 people, of which 40 of them talk.
Yeah.
Very epic. Do I have any actual regrets about it?
I missed top page.
Yeah.
Getting top page.
Yeah.
On score posts. That was fun.
Yeah, I can definitely imagine that. So we're going to talk a bit about your play style because I think Jim and Kieran use something that is called based form. So can you please explain to us what based form is?
For me, it wasn't really learning. It was more just like a natural progression into it. So like as I started conserving more and more, that's just the form that I ended up with. And base form basically is you focus a lot of the weight on your heels and you point your toes outwards to hit left and right. Basically, you're just minimizing movement as much as possible and also using way less energy to move your feet from arrow to arrow because you're not even lifting your entire foot ever.
Yeah, your heel stays planted on the pad and only moves in like a small vertical line, and the rest of the movement is done by just pivoting your toes to hit like the side arrows and up.
How did you learn base form, Kieran?
So I originally played with more heel form, but when I started getting more serious about stamina, I came across the videos on Brand's YouTube of Trevor playing, and it was like, I think it was Last Trip 1.1.
Yeah.
And Winter Solstice. So there's a couple videos from Gambante. Yeah. So yeah, I watched those videos, and at the time that's like the hardest things I'd seen played. I'm like, okay, well, I'm gonna learn how to play like that, and that's sort of how I modeled my form. But it's probably pretty different now than it was then.
So what's the benefit of playing in this style compared to, say, heels out or like straight feet?
I mean, we kind of already talked about this, but yeah, so it just saves so much energy. Like, it also makes going fast really easy as well.
Yeah, it takes very little muscle to do because you're not actually stepping, you're just kind of sliding and pivoting.
Yeah.
It does have its drawbacks though. It makes pedal tapping a lot harder unless you learn how to do the flat.
Yeah, I mean, once you get used to that, it's smooth sailing, really.
Yeah, it's just you have to learn to get into that mindset versus you're so used to like not trying, and then you're like, oh, I actually have to try to lift my toe, and then you're like, I don't want to do that, but then you just fail, and then you're like, okay, I have to do it. I remember like back when you started to get really good, like you were super good at autogen, but as soon as you got off of autogen, you like dropped multiple difficulties because you didn't want to feel with getting tired. And I was like, dude, just
I got in a bad mental state.
Yeah, and then you learned to lift your foot, and you got really fucking good, and you did Scarlet Tempest. So I mean, it works. You just have to find the right balance.
Yeah.
It's like the thing is, I don't have base form, but
It's close.
It's similar. I don't pivot, I just move very little. I raise the arrows very high and I make them sensitive so that I just hit it with like my pinky toe rather than like sliding my foot over it. Mm-hmm. So like the actual leg movement is the same, just not the foot movement.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah.
So do you have any tips on modding for that kind of playstyle?
More higher, more sensitive.
Yeah, you want your pads to be relatively high, especially up. Down arrow, usually I'll leave it slightly less sensitive than the rest, because like most of your weight's going to be on there anyway, because you're resting on your heels really. So yeah, just really flat pad. Well, not flat.
Dude, not it has to be above the center panel.
Ideally above the center panel, if you step really hard still with base form, then maybe slightly recessed. Depends on your play style.
I assume at one point both of us played on flush pads until we started getting good. So I mean, it does work, but it's not as good.
Yeah.
Like, optimal would be very high, very sensitive.
Yeah, the progression basically goes like you start with like sort of flat pads, and as you get better, your form gets better, and then you're like, oh, my pads aren't sensitive enough now, so then you like start, raising the pad slightly, and then tightening your form slightly, and then until you just kind of like...
Also, I would avoid using the inner sensor when possible.
Inner sensor bad.
You want to use the middle two, preferably. And if you're playing base form for like left and right specifically, you can use the top sensor on both of those, because that's where you're going to be stepping all the time anyway. So
yeah, there's something about how like the arrow comes in contact with that just makes you be able to get a way more sensitive.
It's how much weight sits on the L bracket when you move the side L brackets versus the inner L bracket.
Yeah, the inner just like it holds down too easily.
It gets stuck way too easily.
It also changes the feel of the arrow. It'll compress more.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Also, as an addendum, fuck pad modding in general. Like, the annoying thing about toe form is that it's so goddamn finicky that you're likely to like make micro adjustments to your pad every single set, and it's like super frustrating. Whether it be moving the inserts or changing the tape.
I had really good luck on Jeremy's pads. I think it's really pad dependent, honestly.
Yeah. Well, and also most pads are just in such garbage state.
Yeah.
Incidentally, we replaced our sensor channels lately. Only the ones that we actually have the sensors in, and it made such a massive difference.
Yeah, I would recommend that to anyone that has like an arcade pad that's like old.
Yeah, it's a little pricey, but
well, I mean, like if it hasn't been done.
Yeah, like it's a little pricey, but I think it's well
worth your money.
Like I instantly got better despite not having played for a week, and usually when I do that I get quite a bit worse, so take that as you will.
Alright, so you've all been considered top players at some point. Does that put pressure on you when playing in tournaments or casually on stream?
I don't feel pressure from other people, but there is a certain expectation when, like, say you pass 10 25s and you go to play a set, you're going to expect to pass more 25s, and sometimes it doesn't happen, right?
Yeah.
And that doesn't feel good, right?
Yeah.
So I think that's
generally how it is for me as well. Just like playing well for my standards is really all I care about.
Yeah, I completely agree with that.
If I don't play as well as I have been, I'll be upset. That's about it.
I get so fucking melty when like a set is not going well.
I've had some good range sets. a good 2-minute set,
I mean, but I got far out of it. So
that's true, you did. It was good.
How late did that go? Like 1 in the morning?
Literally, we started at like 5:30 p.m. and it ended at 1 a.m. It was so bad.
Wow.
I played
2 sets that day.
Yeah, I played for an hour. It was complete garbage, and I was like, I'm gonna remod my pads and then play again. And then I did that, and then I had like one of my best sets ever, and I was like, okay, I guess that works.
Pad modding bad.
Pad modding very bad. Yeah, the only times I felt pressure from other players is when I started competing with Karen, because I was like a solid difficulty and a half ahead of him, I think. Like you had just started 18, and I was on 19.
When I was like just on the cusp of 19.
Yeah,
you had only passed 19s at that point.
Yeah, I remember you failed like Trails SC Part 4 when I went over.
Yeah, I failed it right at the end.
Yeah, so then you started getting good, and then you actually got better than me. That pissed me off really badly. So then I went from like 19s to 21s in like literally 3 weeks. And then you did the same thing, and I was like, oh, god damn it. We kind of had back and forth, and then my pad broke, and I got stuck on 21s for way too long, and then he just got way better than me.
We did 22, like our first 22s around the same time.
Yeah, we both did Fuhrer, right?
I did a Bright Future as well. And I hit 23 way before you did.
Yeah.
In September. I don't think you hit it till like November or December.
Dude, 23 I got in 2019 of February.
Was it that late?
Yeah, remember I kept almost getting it in December, and I kept like failing like the last 8 measures.
Long? Wow.
It's because I kept taking breaks because stuff kept popping up, so like I got like hindered.
So that means you were on 22s and I got to 25s.
Essentially, yeah.
Before you went to 23s.
Yeah, but then I started catching up again. Once I got to 23s.
I got stuck at 25s forever.
And then I started learning how to play the game like a normal person again. And then the other time I felt pressure was when I saw Garner go from 18s to 20s in like literally 2 weeks. I was like, if I don't break his legs, he's gonna be better than me in like 4 weeks.
Spoilers.
We're like going ahead of ourselves here.
Yeah.
Oh, is
Garner literally the next question.
Oh, well, we can just combine these questions. Who cares?
Sure.
Okay, yeah. So like,
good for Garner. He put in the time and effort to get good, and he got good.
Yeah,
so,
he's literally the second coming of Trevor. Like, the Trevor did the same thing where they just would both play every day for like 6 hours a day, and like it shows. He got good so fast.
Yeah, it's insane.
Yeah, the thing about Garner though is I think he's a lot less consistent than Trevor was, because I remember Trevor would like always have good sets. Like I don't think I ever saw him have a bad set. Garner will go from like passing a 26 to failing a 15 between sets, and like so like anyway, as I was
more pad.
Yeah, he got the 20s, and I was like, he's gonna pass all of us if we don't break his legs. But it took longer than I expected. But then he also got even way better than I expected. He like just completely skipped 26s and went straight to Get Dead, and I was like, okay, I'm not even mad anymore. He deserved it.
He also considers Get Dead as 26.
Yeah, well, he's fucking wrong, so I don't really care.
It's true.
Like I don't take you seriously because you went from like a 25. Couple of 25s to Spiral to Get Dead in the span of like 2 weeks. So yeah, Garner good, everyone else bad.
Pretty much.
It doesn't feel bad anymore because I've already experienced getting passed by really quickly. So I want other I was annoyed when he did it. I was less annoyed when Garner did it.
You knew me personally versus over
we had a rivalry. I didn't have a rivalry with Garner. It kind of just happened overnight. I was like literally better than him, and then he went like from not being better than me to passing Spiral in one set, and I was like, okay, he's better than me. It's official. Anyway,
I love you.
You're all right,
my babies.
How do you feel about foot speed progressively getting absorbed by stamina? Like, foot speed's BPM are starting to get stamina at some point, and there's more high-hand content that is stamina at faster BPM that would have been considered foot speed a few years ago.
Because the only reason that's happening is because there's like an actual BPM progression now. Stamina, like back in the day, the only reason foot speed existed was because it was like you had 200 stamina and then you had 16 measures of like 240.
Yeah, so there was like no progression for charts.
Yeah. Anyway, like it was getting absorbed for a while because first thing was BP stopped being a thing, so like there was no reason to care about foot speed anymore. So everyone went to stamina. Yeah, that was sad, but. Yeah, so then people started filling out the content gaps, and people were getting faster, and I'm
better.
Yeah, I'm fucking happy that people are getting faster because I don't want to play 2 hours of unbroken bullshit because it's not fun.
Yeah.
I'd rather play a 3-minute song and get the same difficulty.
Same.
Or in the case of something like Excess Project Megamix, you can either play 7 hours to get past a 21, or you can play a 16 measure 270 run. I think I'm gonna go with the latter. Yeah. So. Now that people are getting bored of stamina again, foot speed is becoming a thing again. I'm sure you've been paying attention to it's basically Vancouver, but like we're getting back to like doing the 32 measure beam and like pushing really high BPMs in.
Yeah.
It's pretty fun. It's really fucking hard because it's just so hard to read anything above 300. I just can't comprehend it, but it's gonna get there. I just need more content.
I can read faster stuff. It's just that, like you said, there's not a lot of content. Anything above 300 is just very
but it'll get filled out as more and more people, or as we want to more seriously push up the BPMs. Like once you figure out fast speeds again, that's directed at Jim, he will probably write some 310 and 320 and 330. He's already kind of started.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It exists. Not
smooth.
It's in the works.
We're working on it. We're gonna introduce content to make people progress. You just have to be able to get there in the first place. But like, there's more than enough content to like get to 290 or even 300 at this point. Like, that's why people are at that level. And even if there isn't content, you can still Raymond it up. And there's plenty of charts of any sort of variety that you can Raymond, whether you're good at slidey or steppy.
SM5 rate mods are really helpful.
Yeah, that was like the best thing to happen to stamina in a long time.
Yeah.
Yeah, so foot speed good, stamina bad.
True.
Very
On
true.
Stamina Radio.
You kind of reached the extreme end of the content that's available right now. Do you still have any goals for the future in dance games?
We haven't reached the extreme bottom of the game, so I don't understand the question. And no, I'm not out of goals.
Yeah, the hardest stuff I've done I've failed because of external factors rather than being tired. Like we'll get way past where we are now.
Yeah.
I've been saying this for like the last few months, and people don't believe me, but I'm pretty sure we will get to 400 BPM streams.
I still don't believe that.
Jim doesn't believe me, but like,
I think 375.
Hear me out. So like, keyboard, I get that it's faster, but like with a keyboard, you have to press the key down. You don't have to do that.
Yeah, but
with
you
your
get
feet.
4 fingers. But yeah, even if like we were at the bottom of the game, I would just make more content to push further and further. Like, I mean, it's never gonna end.
If you pass a 20 minutes of 300 and 300 is the fastest we could stream, then we'd make 30 minutes of 300. Like,
exactly.
You know,
look at it this way: people have done 4 hours unbroken of 140, whereas at 600 or 300, the most we've done is like 40 measures at this point, maybe 48. Yeah. Even at 280, what's the most we've done? Like 100 something measures. What's saying
unbroken?
Yeah. What's saying we can't just extend that? Like, we're not anywhere near the end of the game.
Yeah.
Like, it's doing 280 is no different than doing 140. It's just at that point your form is just better. Mm-hmm. Like, I'm pretty sure the game has gotten less tiring as I've gotten better.
We probably use less energy streaming 280 than somebody whose max BPM is 140 uses streaming 140.
Yeah, the only difference is you just do 140 combined. That's how you do 280.
Do 140 with each foot.
Yeah, that's all you do, man. And like, there's also no content that kind of like fills in that niche of like, you know, extended runs. Which is why for Trails 4, I'm making a 20-minute 270 mix, and it's like...
Heard it here first, folks.
Yeah, it's
exclusive.
Literally 95% plus density, so...
Can we not have Fractal V2, only it's 270?
Yeah, but it's only 20 minutes, and it's all good music, so it's not Fractal at all.
Still hard.
It's like, it's Get Deaded, but better.
Get Deaded 1.1, right?
It's gonna be
1 point.
I should instead of naming it the Unisuga sound, I should just name it Get Beheaded.
I'm sorry if I Get Deaded, guys. It was kind of a silly joke, but it ended up being used for Stamina RPG, so I guess that wasn't fun for everybody. So you used to play a lot, like actually a lot, few times a week. Do you suffer from dance game burnout? And if yes, how do you avoid dance game burnout?
I don't burn out.
Let go of the bar.
Injure a part of your body that has to change the way you play and adapt to that instead.
Yeah, like, the thing about burnout is just don't.
I mean, when I burn out, I'll usually move to a different subset of the game. Like, there was a period where I was just playing like FA.
Yeah,
I played Stamina FA,
and then Stamina,
a large part of RPG,
and then Stamina FA as well. And now I'm playing No Bar because that's bad.
Like, the biggest thing that causes burnout is when you don't play at your best and you just get pissed off.
Yeah.
The thing you gotta do is just like, you gotta calm the fuck down and identify the issue rather than trying to force it, because then you just get memed on, and like, you don't want that. And then if you start playing like once a week or once every 2 weeks, you're just gonna get worse and worse, and it's just a downward spiral. Yes, your options are don't get burned out, do something different, or figure out the problem.
Yeah.
Burnout bad.
That's true.
So yeah, like, you guys kind of invented autogen. So I got a question from a step artist perspective. Do you think that autogen 24s and above have encouraged step artists to step more hard stuff?
No.
Yes, my favorite Aoreo chart, Navris 26.
Navris is my favorite 26 by Aoreo.
So yeah, no, I think just more people being at that difficulty, because like if you have one person doing that, most step artists aren't gonna want to chart for that one person. Like if they don't like it, they're not gonna play it, and then your chart is useless. So
True.
But if you have, was what, 6, 7 people at 25s now?
Yeah.
So
incidentally, we all step.
Yeah. So it's
like
make more hard content.
Yeah, like I've been stepping for a very long time, and like when I was at like 18s or 19s, I tried to make like everything. But I find myself that as I'm getting better, I just want to write more and more shit that's like slightly out of my reach, or like
set your own goals.
Yeah. I just write stuff for myself now that if other people want to play them, they can. If they don't like it, I don't give a shit. So yeah, autogen bad. Well, actually, so
autogen served its purpose.
Yes, in a roundabout way, it kind of did motivate people to step 24s because it just helped them get to 24s.
It helped the progression because it filled in a very large content gap at the time. Because like in November there was like nothing for me to play for 25, so
yeah.
I like my autogen folder is like 160 charts, and that's part of why I got to where I got.
And the thing about autogen is like it doesn't have to just all be slidey patterns. Like you can make it have harder patterns, and I actually kind of like those. Like
towards the end of when I was making autogen, I started making the charts harder because I there was enough real content that I wanted more. Like it's like people were stepping only slidey stuff for hard content, so there was so I made more steppy stuff for autogen.
Yeah, and that stuff was actually good. Like
some of it.
I was pretty staunchly anti-autogen because I was like, it's just boring. It's alternating staircases. And even then, I finally started playing them a bit at the 24 range because there's like less and less charts.
Exactly why it existed in the first place.
So like, I get the use of it. I don't like it, but it serves its purpose. It's not useless.
Yeah.
The main thing I don't like about autogen is if someone is a cunt and just like overwrite someone's chart with autogen because they don't want to do it. When you just get better.
Yeah, but I mean, if you just do it for yourself and you just play it, then it's one thing.
I would rather you just wrote an actual chart for it because it's better than just being like, oh, I'm gonna put this in a program and have a chart written in 3 seconds, rather than learning how to make it better myself.
Do you feel like your interest in ITG has declined over time, and would something like 9-panel revive your interest in dancing games?
I don't think any of us are uninterested in ITG right now. Like Jim and I are playing No Bars because it's kind of fun.
It is very fun. More people need to play No Bar. Get dunked on Akeem.
Akeem's not even good anymore. Etatian, where's my video on Kieran? He's doing 25 No Bar. I want him to get 100,000 views. He needs that AdSense money so we can buy another pad.
Yeah, I don't think any of us are uninterested in IG at this point. I mean, we're at as of the day of recording, the 3 of us are still progressing, which I think is pretty much what we enjoy about ITG is progressing, right? So like, if you plateau, then yeah, you might lose interest, and maybe you switch to No Bar, you switch to whatever, right? So yeah.
This would be a good question for Box.
Oh yeah. Dude, holy shit.
At Box.
Bye. Yeah.
9-panel is on the radar, but I wouldn't play it seriously. It'd be a side game.
Yeah, for me that'd be a casual.
I will plan. I plan on buying a pad and having and playing it, but just kind of
just casual.
Yeah, I don't know. 9-panel is all right. It's different. It's not what I want to do. What I want to do is just be better than everyone.
Go fast.
Go fast.
For longer.
I'm gonna do Erosion of Madness 280. If I can do that on Rhythm Horizon, I'll consider Rhythm Horizon, but I can't. So ITG good.
We're gonna enter some more nostalgia question. What would be, so who is the person that has retired during your dancing career that you miss the most having around in tournaments and in general in the community?
2-way tie between Matt and Jonks.
Oh, I was gonna say Trevor.
No, Trevor's all. Okay, fine. 3-way tie between Trevor,
Matt, and Phil.
Yeah.
Yeah, that sounds about right.
Incidentally, they were like the 3 best players, and incidentally, they're like the most interesting people.
Yeah.
Yeah, everyone now is just a robot. I don't, like... Here's the thing. I don't care if you're good at the game. I care if you're funny. Incidentally, they were both funny and good at the game, so...
Yeah.
So in your opinion, what is the best and the worst that happened to the game in the last few years?
I'm just gonna go out on a limb here. I'm sorry, Ian, you're gonna get dunked, but it's StaminaCon. Like, it's very good for the community to expand it, but I'm very antisocial, so I like my small events, and I like that ECS was like BP, and now ECS is not like BP, so I'm sad.
Same, honestly.
But I understand that it's important for the community, so I support you doing it. I don't really... I've never been to a convention, and I'd like to keep it that way.
What's the worst thing? Is it Fractal Glitchworks?
Fractal Glitchworks is a pretty bad... No, XS Project is the worst thing to happen to
XS
RPG.
Project being an RPG.
The fact that
it
so many
exists
people have legitimized that goddamn chart in 2019 is just disgusting, and you should all be ashamed of yourselves, because now I'm going to write a 24-hour chart, and if Ian doesn't put it in RPG 4, I'm not competing.
To be fair, the 3-hour liquidity thing is probably more offensive as a chart because of the 30 seconds.
You mean the 20th?
Sorry, yeah, the 20th. 30 seconds.
Imagine streaming 350 after 2.5 hours of 1 second.
You know what I mean? As a chart, that's a worse chart than the 7-hour chart.
Well, so like the thing about that was Ian was trying to like just get more people's content into the tournament, just to like
restep the run and make the chart playable.
Like, I get he was trying to give people exposure. Like, it's a nice thing of him to do, but I do feel that some of the unlocks really suffered in quality.
Yeah, quality suffered a bit.
I mean, that's okay though. Like, most of the charts weren't catered to me anyway.
Yeah.
Other than the release of the Far West Ocean, which I accidentally gave him the wrong chart for, and now we all paid the price. By playing literally the worst fucking 25 in existence.
Also, I only said Fractal because it made Kieran stop playing with the bar.
No, it's the best thing to happen because it made him play no bar, and now he's playing everyone no bar. It's really funny.
It is very funny.
I honestly enjoy watching you play no bar. It's insane. Like, you're improving just as fast as you did with the bar, so it's like I honestly don't know where you're gonna stop. Like,
I feel like I'll get to where I was at.
I think you'll probably pass like Navras Expert no bar.
We'll find out
in about a week.
Stay tuned on twitch.tv/Levitas with 3 S's. Because 2 S's was taken, and I'm pretty sure 1 S was me, but I don't remember the password.
Good job.
3 S's.
Congratulations.
But what's the best thing? We didn't
well,
that.
Only bad things happen.
I thought the question. I said the best thing and worst thing simultaneous was supposed to be simultaneous, which is why I said stamina.
Oh, okay. Well, yeah.
The best thing to happen to stamina.
I think that's supposed to be separate things.
Is that okay? Well, that thing is simultaneously the best and worst thing in my opinion. And actually, that applies to RPG because like RPG was very, very, very good for getting people good.
Yeah, it was bad for people at the high end, though.
Yeah, I feel like I'm getting burned out on it, but that's also my fault for like wanting to play it all the time when I can just do other things. Go back to RPG when I want to, but I'm too competitive. There's your answer.
Still don't know what the best thing is.
RPG probably.
Okay.
Like RPG 2 especially was like insane for people's progression. So many people like got above 20s because of RPG 2.
Alright, no, I changed my mind. Best thing is SM5 being more like commonplace.
That's true.
And like easy access to like upgraded machines to that.
That's very true.
It's game changing.
SM5 always existed for me, so I don't really have.
Remember how much shit I used to talk about SM5?
You used to give me shit for playing SM5.
You know what? I never stopped feeling that way. They're all crutches, and it's like so much harder to play on stock than it is on SM5. So like Tofu's especially good.
Yeah.
Because he plays on it.
I mean, to be fair, he doesn't use the measure counter or anything.
He doesn't even use the measure counter. Dude, that guy is insane. I don't even understand.
He played Trails 3rd blind with no measure counter. Like, what is this?
And he was like, yeah, it's okay.
Like, what did he get on his first pass?
Like a 90.
He's got like 94 on it now or something. He's done it like 3 times.
Yeah.
Okay.
So again, another history question. Can you tell us about your stepping history? Because the two of you have been stepping chart for ages, and I don't know if people have all the elements to know about your stepping background.
You start.
Okay.
Jim's got to think.
Hey man, I've done a lot. I think I started after Tachyon Beta, because when Matt wrote Tachyon Beta, it was like fucking revolutionary at the time, because like foot speed was kind of just like drills and like a kind of short run. But then Tachyon Beta came and was like, hey, if you can't do 260, you fucking suck. And like at that point, foot speed was officially defined as 225 plus, which was, it was a good measure at the time. It's stamina now, but back in the day, stamina was Dragon Force, and that was in keyboard charts. But yeah, so the first things I made were like some really shitty SSH charts that I threw away forever, and no one will ever find them. But if you look on my YouTube, you'll find them. And if you look at them, I'm gonna have to legally gouge your eyes out. And then I went back and I kind of like reevaluated what I was doing wrong, and then I wrote "Be Careful," which I think was my first official chart. That wasn't complete garbage.
It's a pretty good one.
Yeah, for a first chart, it was pretty good. And then I think the next one was like Hell Watchdog. So anyway, I started Tachyon Gamma, went on to Rhapsody, and then I did more Tachyon stuff. And then I wrote Fast Track to Brewtown, which honestly was like not really a good pack. It was kind of like an offshoot of Delta almost, and those patterns were never good. And then I kind of took like a step charting break almost outside of Tachyon stuff. And then me and Jim did a collab pack called Brule Brute Breeds. So we both like Steve Brule.
Yeah.
And John C. Reilly is very funny in that role, so we wanted to make a dumb pun out of it, and that's why the graphics look really shitty, because it relates to the show. It was kind of just like an assortment of hard stuff that no one really...
Like Tachyon Rejects pack, basically.
Yeah, and then it actually ended up being pretty good by the end. At the time, like some of the charts are still playable, honestly, which is kind of good for how old it is. Like the oldest chart in that is probably from like 2012.
Yeah, that pack is like started... Yeah, 2012, basically.
Yeah, that pack is... There's a rejects version of that pack, and it's not very good.
Oh, yeah.
It's just like... It still plays like Tachyon Delta. You can tell it's really old.
Yeah.
So from there, I kind of did nothing, and then I realized that I can just dump over music, and I'm sure, as you guys know, I really like Falcom, so I was like kind of joking about making a Falcom pack. I went the Falcom route because like I wrote a chart to Belief Super Arrange, which had like 320 streams, and then like me and a few other people were joking about like, oh dude, what if we made like a Falcom pack? Then we made a Falcom pack, and then I made another Falcom pack, and I made another one, and now I'm making the last Falcom pack ever before I quit step charting forever because everyone else bad, and Arvin bad, and Falcom bad.
Same.
It's true. So that's my history.
Yeah, so for me, I started way back, technically, on like DDR Max and Max 2, doing like edits. Those were fun. They're all right. Nothing too crazy. But I started writing actual charts. I wouldn't even call them charts, honestly. So like when I finally started playing Step Meeting around like 2006-ish. And my first charts were very, very bad. I had no concept of BPM or anything or quantization. So like most of my charts, I would just highlight the whole song and then snap to 192nd notes and do Control R and just record myself stepping.
I'm sorry to interrupt, but I just remembered when I was 12, I wrote a chart to Tupac hit him up that way.
Yeah. Yeah. So like I think the first chart I ever stepped that way was Lowrider.
I don't remember that chart.
No one does. I don't think anyone has it.
Okay.
I hope. I don't think that ever got released. Like that's just so old. And then so after that, I finally started to realize that BPMs were a thing and how to do things properly. The first like playable chart that I made was it's called Benny Lava, which is not the actual title of the song. It's some Bollywood song. If you search it on YouTube, you'll find it. There was like a funny misheard lyrics video for it.
Yep.
And that was why I wanted to set it, because it was a funny song. And it was like an 11, and it's still kind of playable today, but it's not great. And then after that, I set more songs, similar quality, and it became a pack, Aoreo's Atrocities.
Oh man.
And not to be confused with the re-release of Aoreo's Atrocities, they're not the same. The first iteration was like 20 songs, and I think some of them are still up on Xenius iVanisher, so if you want to scope some really bad charts, they're on there. And then after that, around 2008, I like made charts that still hold up today, and I have other packs now, such as like Aoreo hates Oreos, Aoreo loves Oreos, LMFA Oreo, Aoreo's Happy Snacks,
I didn't even know that.
Aoreo's Snack Pack, and then around 2012 I made Beast Aoreo Beast 1, and that pack was a hot garbage mess of just mostly hard content and then like funny meme stuff, and then that took off to be its own hard stuff series pack, and I made 4 packs, and then after that I thought that had run its course, and then I started making Jimmy John's, which originally was just going to be like kind of similar to Beast Aoreo Beast 1, where it was just like an assortment of things of generally hard stuff. And then after that, when I made 2 and 3, it started gearing towards more stamina oriented only, and not so much foot speed and other stuff. And I think most of my foot speed ended up going into Brule at that time.
Yeah, that sounds about right.
And then also there's the Banger series, which now is mostly all foot speed, a little bit of stamina, but it's like kind of like a sexuality violation replacement. But yeah, but better and not awful name. Yeah. And that's about it. I have a bunch of other packs I'm working on right now, and yeah, it's gonna be a while.
Please look forward to the future of stamina.
Yeah, future of stamina is one thing we're working on. A few other things I'm working on is JJ4.
Good pack.
What was the other one? I'm stepping System of a Down. That's fun.
Bangers 3.
Bangers 3. I'm probably forgetting stuff. There's probably another.
You got a couple charts and trails for. You get to it.
Yeah.
That doesn't have
I'm doing a lot.
Yeah.
And yeah.
And I'm doing trails for. The other 3 packs are all 30 songs each, but I think this one's probably gonna wrap up the series, so it's gonna be 100 songs, so that there's nothing else left to step. So yeah, thank you for the dab.
Yep.
But yeah, so it's gonna be 100 songs. I think we're at like 35 right now, and I'm pretty sure at least like 20 of them are at 24 or higher. But there will be easier content, and there's also FA content because I recruited new people like Storytime and Chief Skittles, and they write pretty good easier stuff. Like I played some of Chief Skittles' FA stuff, and it's actually fun, and I don't play FA anymore, so please look forward to that. So at the arcade I used to play at, the bar was really broken, and it would literally go back and forward like more than a full foot. So as you can imagine, hitting the up arrow was like goddamn really hard. So in general, candles were really hard. Back then, stamina like had almost no candles in it, so I was like, I'm gonna make a stamina pack that's all candles. And then I wrote Rhapsody, and like you could tell that like I didn't really know what I was doing, but like I kind of had an idea. There was like some moments of clarity where like the guitars actually went to the music, but a lot of it was just very clearly dumped over. And it was like one of the first kind of dumpy packs, which revolutionized things. Ian likes to say that Rhapsody inspired Pendulum, so if he's the godfather of stamina, then I'm the god-grandfather of stamina, and that makes me have
Make you the great godfather of stamina.
No, I said did I say the godfather as well?
You said it wrong.
Fuck, the grandfather.
Nope.
But yeah, anyway, so yeah, I want fucking candles, so I got candles, and pack was good at the time. It's not good anymore. Yeah, so we're probably gonna maybe restep it as 24th to modernize it. Kieran's done a couple of charts like that already. There's also some auto-gen like that. I don't know if I want to commit to it. We might just step a few things for it for the future of stamina, because like I don't want to step the same song 20 times over, because let's face it, their songs are all similar.
It's true.
Yeah, so yeah, that's how Rhapsody was made. Bar bad, and I wanted candles, and I gave everyone candles, and I'm the grandfather of stamina.
Granddaddy.
And you can
Grandpappy.
And you
Yummy
can
beefy granddad.
and you can quote me on that.
I know you touched up a bit on that before, but how do you feel bringing back VGM and in general, like metal music back into ATG?
Dude, bringing back metal and video game music to Stamina was like the best thing I've ever done for this community. I don't give a shit what anyone says. I was so tired of the music in Stamina. Like, going from the tack-on packs to going to whatever was in Stamina at the time, like, actually made me want to shoot myself in the face. Like, no offense, Sam, but like, it was like a pack of noise. There's some good songs, but a lot of it was just like so memey. Like, imagine going to O. Henry and you hear the end, and it's just like literal low noises with like the occasional like 80s classic rock sample, and you're like, what the fuck is this garbage? Like, give me back my SSH and chiptunes. Like, I'm not gonna play this. So, yeah, I don't know. And then the other thing with Sharpnel, I really fucking hate Sharpnel. Like, his music is so lazy.
Yeah, I don't like most of Sharpnel.
All he does is he takes a song, puts some trance over it, or whatever, techno, whatever the fuck you want to call it, J-core. Half the time, it's like not even in the correct key, and then he'll just take the lyrics. Sometimes they're perfectly fine lyrics, and he'll just like pitch it up multiple octaves, and it sounds like a fucking screeching harpy, and it's like, wow, great, this is great music to listen to. And the thing about Sharpnel is if he sometimes manages to make a good song, it's because the source material was already good in the first place, and he just made it worse. Like, he's done that so many times.
That's true.
So I'm not giving him credit. The only thing I will give him credit for is We Love Llama. That song is a complete fluke. It's like way too good for him. No offense. No, fuck that. I mean full offense at that. That and I have a bad
offense,
taste.
just defense.
I thought you were going somewhere else with that one.
Oh. No.
But yeah, so like, I don't know, I got really tired of Stamina music, which was one of the main reasons I wanted to step trails, because like, the biggest motivator for me is not the chart, it's the music. I can deal with a bad chart if the song is good, but ideally you're going to want both, which is why I just make good charts and good music now. So it's no coincidence that I started getting way better, way faster when there was more Trails music. It's because I gave myself more content to play that I actually wanted to play. So thank you everyone else who's been stepping good music, especially Storytime, because Daisuke, fucking guy who does like Guilty Gear and BlazBlue, that guy makes pretty good music, so I'm looking forward to that pack. The stuff that's been in ECS 8's been pretty good, both step chart wise and musically, so keep up the good work. I know I do.
So Jim, to me, you're kind of like the most underrated, prolific artist there is in the game as of now. How do you feel about that?
Underrated? More like overrated. Like, all my charts in JJ2.
That one was rehearsed, by the way.
Not really. But for real, I wouldn't say underrated. I feel like people really do appreciate my charts. It's just like, most people are just not super vocal about it. Like, sometimes, like, when I meet people up at tournaments, they'll be like, oh, I really love your charts or whatever. So, like, I don't know. I don't think I'm underrated.
Dude, you gotta tell about the Jimmy John's 2 incident.
Oh my god, so I'm so mad. I'm still mad.
That's why I
have not recovered. So I wrote JJ2, I think this was like 2015-ish, I want to say. And I like was not playing on pad much at all because I was like busy doing other stuff. But anyway, I gave the pack out to like a lot of people as like a beta to be like, hey, help me with ratings and all this stuff and give me feedback. And I gave it to like, you know, a bunch of people and I didn't hear much back at all. Just like, you know, it's good, whatever. And then I released the pack within like literal hours. People were like, oh, you know, Scatman's World 20, yeah, sure. It's like a 17 or an 18. It's just like, how did nobody tell me this? And it wasn't just Scatman's World. It was like multiple charts. Like half the pack is just very tragic with ratings. And also, adding to this whole JJ2 thing, I was mad that Ian put JJ1 and 2 on group stats because I wanted to completely redo them because they're not good.
And now you can't.
And now they're forever cemented in group stats, and I'm very sad.
Along with Surf through Jackhammer. but not.
Don't even get me started on that.
But not subliminal. Or wait, no,
loaded future
pack.
pack.
Loaded future pack's not on there, but Circuit Jackhammer is.
Anyway, yeah, I was mad about that. Yeah, that's about it. People just don't talk about my charts, but
Gym charts good.
They like them though.
It's true.
And
Thanks, Discord notification.
Shut the fuck up, Discord.
Also, to add to this, I also wouldn't think they're underrated because they're used in tournaments all the time. Like,
It's true.
not just ECS, but like ECFA, Fort Rapids, Storm. I don't know about Storm anymore, but
There's literally a tournament. There isn't a tournament that doesn't have your charts. in
yeah,
it,
basically, I'm not underrated.
So, yeah, continuing that question, if you had one pack that you wish were more popular, which one would it be? Because I know you made a huge splash with since some of your packs are more popular than others. I think Banger is more popular, and maybe Aereo Index is more popular than some of your bad stuff.
Basically, don't play JJ2. It's really bad. That's what I have to say about that. I guess A Originals 3. Aereo's A Originals 3, I put a lot of time into that. And like, I don't know, I feel like it suffered from taking too long to release, because I think most people played it when it was still in beta, so now it's not getting any appreciation. But yeah, if you play FA and you want fun stuff, play that.
Would there even be anything at this point? Because like,
Everything's so old now.
the meta has changed so much in the last year or two.
I haven't released anything. Okay, here. Shoutouts to Double Stuffed. Very underrated pack by me and Ninjafar. It's very old, but it still holds up today. Play it if you want easy content. That's fun.
So what was it like to participate as a judge in Stamina Showcase 2?
Being a judge for Stamina Showcase was an experience. Getting to see everyone's genre tastes was interesting. There's a lot of variety to look at, not even just in genres, but also like patterning choices, and even like outside of streams, like jumps and holds and all that. It was an experience. It was also fun to see like the meme stuff come through, because it happens every year. Having to judge those was fun. Also, I'm a very harsh judge. I'm sorry at everyone that I own in this tournament.
Sorry, Chino, for not getting first with Redshift Galaxy.
Oh yeah. Yeah, sorry Chino, you literally lost because of your 12th in Redshift. The end.
Eat shit.
So yeah, around the game right now, because I feel like we've touched up a lot on what you've been doing inside of the game. So do you have any hobbies that you pursue outside of ITG and rhythm games in general?
I work outside of ITG, and I visit my wife outside of ITG because she's not here right now, because she's a vet on the other side of the country, so that's a thing.
That's an Army veteran, by the way.
No, it's like a pet vet. And I like trails, so I play trails a lot.
Alright, so I'm mostly just... I've been playing Minecraft a lot lately.
Minecraft.
Here we are in Minecraft. Yeah, so that's been fun. I also play a lot of DJ Max. So that's my jam. I actually bought a PS4 just so I could play DJ Max, because I'm really autistic. Yeah, I like playing rhythm games that aren't ITG as well. That's about it. I'm really boring as a human being.
Same.
I'm so boring, I'm not even gonna answer that question.
We all know your hobby is StarCraft 2, according to
my other hobby is browsing Twitter and looking at Yowie. I really like that. Write in the comment section what you think my new Twitch username should be, because I don't like having the word Oreo in my title because it's a brand name, and I also don't like Yowie Boy.
I'm telling you, man, guilty queer.
I don't even play Guilty
That's
Gear.
why it's so good.
Okay.
So we're gonna finish this interview in a few questions, so I need to ask you the mandatory question. So what's next for you all?
Next for me is working on finishing up these packs. Like I mentioned earlier, I'm just working on so much stuff right now. Right now, I'm currently trying to finish out JJ4 and just get that out as soon as possible because I've been sitting on it for so long. Also, playing No Bar. So I'm trying to get more 23s right now, maybe a 24. I'm really good at like foot speed No Bar, but I want to work on my endurance because it's lacking. That's it.
As for me, I'm working on Trails 4, which will be out in late 2020. That sounds about right. Probably after ECS 9. And then I'm also working on the future of Stamina with Jim and Korean and Chino and one other person. 2 other people, actually. I don't want to give too much details out, but anyway. Yes, I'm doing that, and I want to get to 28s. And like I said, I want to do Erosion of Madness at 280, which is like... I'm gonna fucking die is what's gonna happen, because it's really tiring. And I want to be the fastest player. I want to beat Jim at foot speed. I'm getting there. I did 19 measures of 320 recently, so I'm not too far behind him at this point. It's only a matter of time. I just gotta keep working towards it. And also, I'm reviving Bearpocalypse, which I briefly touched upon before. That's not a meme. Like, I'm actually running Bearpocalypse 7, Winter 2019, or at the beginning of 2020. It's going to be a small-scale tournament because it's going to be at my place. So it's just going to be, like, invitational 8 people plus some spectators. And it's going to be good. It's going to be very hard. If you can't do 270, don't even bother coming is what I'm going to say.
They can't because
I'm not gonna. Just kidding. I'm not gonna invite you if you can't do 270.
I thought it was 280 23s.
That's to get into the Empire, but Bearpocalypse, like, if you can't do 270, at least you're fucked.
That's true.
There's gonna be some stuff, sub 270 stuff, because I think I'm gonna start. Yeah, I'm gonna start at like 250 here, and go up to like 320. I think. I haven't really worked out the details, but we're working on it. But yeah, so Bearpocalypse is coming back. That's about it for me.
So my goal at the beginning of this year was to pass a 30 by the end of the year. But since I've basically converted to No Bar, I'd like to at least get to where I was before I stopped playing with the bar, which is sort of at the low end of 27s. I started writing charts. They're okay. Arvin likes them.
I like them.
My life has meaning now.
It's true. No, but actually they're pretty good. Some of them parts are a little zhezh, but for someone who has literally never written charts, they're like better than a very large majority of Stamina writers' charts.
I also can't pad test them right now, so that makes it kind of hard.
Yeah. I'll pad test this for you.
I know, you have been pad testing.
You're welcome.
Thank you.
Any shoutouts?
Shoutouts to the Peruvian Extreme ITG community. Shoutouts to Frank and Joel. You guys are beasts. Keep it up. You should work on your FA though. I do.
So yeah, I know this interview was pretty long. So maybe you got one question for me.
Alright, Remy, Jim is too scared to ask this, so I'm gonna fucking ask for him. Because I'm curious too. I've seen you mix before. I've seen what Ableton looks like. Why can you not line up the waveforms in your goddamn mixes? Like, most of these songs don't drift, you can see the beat, so why do we have to sync every goddamn shit in all your mixes? Like, I've been using Reaper for 6 months, and I already figured out how to do it. Just line up the waveforms. Why can't you do it, man? Your mixing is so good, so why do you have to like piss all the singers off? But like being off by 10 milliseconds every time. It's just a little bit of just like move the waveform.
Thank you, Arvin. That was my question.
That is your question. God, I got heated. I'm not even the singer, and it still pisses me off.
I mean, yeah.
I only recently got into mixes, and I already figured it out. So like, just move the thing.
It's true.
Calculate the BPM beforehand. I've seen you figure out how to do the BPMs, and they're wrong. Stop using Ableton's function. It's wrong. You gotta tap it out by hand and then round, because it's generally gonna be that, or you can like approximate. Yeah, you can guess and check by putting in a BPM and lining up to the waveform, and I know you know how to do that. So
I mean, apparently not.
You're not gonna add this question, I know, but I'm calling you out again. Darn it. I called out a lot of people in this interview. Jesus Christ.
I mean, you're kind of right on that because it's mainly because I'm really lazy about everything, so I should theoretically be able to sync everything perfectly. But I don't do that because if you want to make it feel like it's live, you know, there's some kind of drift between the tracks, which means you have to constantly readjust the two tracks to make them feel in sync. And sometimes, like, being right on the millisecond on the transition between two tracks is gonna sound worse than when there's a very small difference of sync between the two, because the kicks just, they don't go well together, or you know, some of it is better slightly off sync. It's the major reason why also all my ITG offsets are pretty wrong by maybe 2 or 3 milliseconds. It's because I use the beat tick from Eurovortex synced to the ITG sync, and I beat match the two like I would do for 2 records, so that's kind of why everything is like slightly off sync, or maybe, you know, very off sync in the case of some mixes I did, because I'm lazy and sometimes it sounds better that way, so I'm sorry guys. So yeah, one of the very last questions, who would you like me to interview in the future?
So, people that I would like to hear you interview, I don't know how feasible some of these are. Matt would be a good one.
Oh,
Mad
God.
Matt.
Yes.
Trevor.
Yes.
Phil.
Yes.
JD.
Absolutely. Like, he should be priority in my opinion, because he still actually plays the game.
Yeah, JD would be good. You can talk about like the New York scene and stuff back in the day.
And how his body is as frail as a burnt piece of paper.
Those are my suggestions.
Who do I want to see interviewed? Honk.
Oh, Honk would be good.
Mike and Amy.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Bran, of course. Happy Feet. Yeah.
And then probably the same ones as me.
And then what he said.
Nobody.
Rust.
I want to see you interview Rust. Because he's just going to talk like a Texan and I'm not going to understand a single thing he says. Probably something about sheepdogs, maybe a shotgun or two. Probably Whataburger, because none of the Texans ever shut the fuck up about Whataburger. I don't understand it, it's just a burger, man.
It's alright.
What a burger.
I've had it before.
So yeah, like, this is the end of the interview, so thank you very much guys for your contribution to this episode, and I'm glad that you took the time to answer my numerous questions. So see you guys later, I hope, for StaminaCon 2020.
Thanks for interviewing us, Remy.
Thanks, man.
I had a fun time.
Pre-recorded message.
It was a good time, man. I'm sorry I'm so goddamn angry all the time. I'm sure you're gonna have a blast editing this. Not my problem. You knew what you were getting yourself into.
Yeah, it could have been worse, honestly.
Yeah, we were pretty leashed. Like a dog. What's with the look? Why can't we just even say a proper goodbye? Why are we so dysfunctional? Like, I'm just trying to thank Remy.
I know.
And I'm here going on 17 tangents, and you're here giving me condescending looks when I talk about dogs.
Stop talking, it's dinner time.
No. Why can't you thank Remy instead of being fucking annoying for once in your life?
I'll thank Remy when he buys me dinner.
Ooh.
Thanks, Remy.
You know what happens after dinner?
Yeah, you gotta poop.
Yep.
Thanks, Remy. Bye, Remy.
Bye.
Bye.
Let's do it live next time because it'll be better.
See you later.
See you at StaminaCon. We'll be in the other ballroom running
See you
BP
at
6.9.
BP 659.
Ooh, that's a lot of BPs.